Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Tobago. I'm Amadara Mills, coming to you from the Ocean Whispers Villa 13, located within the scenic landscape of Salmon Grove. Since our last episode, our team has been traveling all across Tobago, looking for the major stories happening on the island. It's all just for you, our treasured viewers. And in the next half hour, we'll bring you the details. So sit back and relax because it's time for Let's Talk Tobago, starting with the headlines. The Eco-Industrial Development Company Limited, EIDCOT, hosts an ideation workshop to benefit stakeholders of the Tobago business community. The island welcomes its newest accommodations property. We'll tell you what the buzz is all about. You'll also get the opportunity to meet one of Tobago's National Award recipients, the third member of her family to earn such an honor. And later, we get a look into the Tomac Afrofusion Celebration concert with the appearance of Nigerian artist Burna Boy, highly anticipated. We have all these stories and more when Let's Talk Tobago returns. Stay with us.
This is paradise, where the vibe's so nice. Say whoa, say whoa. Welcome to paradise, you will feel so nice in Tobago.
In our first story, it's the mandate of the Eco-Industrial Development Company of Tobago, EIDCOT, to encourage economic development and diversification while focusing on environmentally sustainable production of goods and services. EIDCOT recently hosted an ideation workshop for the Tobago business community, and we have the highlights. More in this story. Rojas Engineering Limited is a Tobago-based metal fabrication company and a tenant of the Eco-Industrial Development Company of Tobago, EIDCOT, since 2013. This company is always looking for ways to push its creative boundaries, whether that's via its custom manufactured products, marketing, or branding strategies. So an ideation workshop spearheaded by EIDCOT in partnership with the Caribbean Industrial Research Institute, CARIRI, is an ideal opportunity for this business. Josan Rojas appreciates being able to explore how entrepreneurs can turn ideas into viable products or services.
We have to engage in sessions like this where we can meet new people, learn new solutions, and continue finding different ways and solutions of growing and developing our business.
Participants learned about the steps involved in the idea process. They include identifying problems that can be solved, learning how those problems affect others, designing solutions, and testing those goods or services through market research.
This session is going to help them not only with product innovation, process innovation, service innovation, and it's going to help individuals understand how they can better utilize their own creativity from themselves or their employees to help their current business, or even to create new spin-offs where they could have other lines of products or services.
A lot of people have the ideas, but it's about just bringing it to fruition. So that's why we're helping, we're holding hands, we're doing what it takes. Like I said, EIDCOT is not just a landlord. We're about bringing our tenants along and making sure that they thrive and develop in their business.
Just over 20 business representatives took part in the one-day session. One of them was owner of Real United Entertainment Center, Dr. Ali Mayu Chadband. Dr. Chadband values the interactive and dynamic nature of the event.
The group discussions have helped us to broaden our mindsets. For instance, today we had a discussion where we had two targets, like a restaurant setting, and to come up with new ways to deal with some of the problems and challenges, such as should there even be a fixed menu, should the location be fixed, and things like that. And these are some of the problems we encounter on a day-to-day basis when we run in our businesses. So just engaging in the discussion and coming up with the ideas helps us to realize how much we can do and how much we can get that extra boost in terms of getting our business out there.
Following this workshop, EADCOT plans to carry out other similar sessions to provide local business owners with the appropriate skills for starting and expanding their enterprises. Now, we share with you Tobago's newest accommodations property. Seclusion Villas and Conference Center is seeking to put its stamp on corporate and business events in Tobago. Here's how.
Tobago has added a new business accommodations property to its tourism product. Seclusion Villas and Conference Center was recently opened in Crown Point. It will add quality accommodations to this island's room stock. According to the management company, Seclusion also brings a new experience for corporate and business events in Tobago.
The villa-styled accommodation with ample communal areas can enhance social and networking opportunities during company retreats, for example, hosting events, and for corporate collaborations.
The area includes a sheltered pergola, a swimming pool, 2 villas, and a conference center.
Thank you. Thank you for trusting Tobago. Thank you for taking the chance. Thank you for taking the risk. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Once you invest and you take your time and you are trusted by the people here, it is a place of loyalty.
Councillor Tashia Burris is quite satisfied with this newest addition to the island's accommodation sector. She says visitors must have access to quality room stock. The Tourism Secretary believes Tobago must move from barely surviving to thriving when it comes to its tourism products.
It is crucial now more than ever that their entrance has signaled the strengthening of our accommodation sector. Accommodation is essential. It attracts overnight tourists, and that is something that we need. We need more persons coming into the island to stay and vacation. And that requires persons like Mr. Maraj and his group and others to see Tobago as a real option for investment. Seclusion Villa and Conference Center will also play a role in boosting our potential as a MICE destination, and MICE meaning meetings, incentives, conferences, and events. Over the years, we have demonstrated promise in that area.
Seclusion's location at Palm Eagles Drive, Crown Point, also means greater convenience to visitors using A&R Robinson International Airport.
World Food Day isn't just about the grand 2-day exhibition. People can also participate in free educational sessions facilitated by the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development. Here are the details from the first seminar on the World Food Day 2022 schedule. Take a look. Understanding the science involved in animal care can bring healthier livestock, higher yields, and greater profits. That's the goal of this livestock seminar held at Kendall Farm School. Participants learned about the risks that livestock production can pose to humans and how to limit those dangers. The risks include the exposure to and misuse of chemicals, as well as physical injury when handling animals. Veterinarian Dr. Paul Crooks believes such seminars help farmers improve how they manage their farms.
These types of sessions are incredibly important for keeping farmers aware of best practices. See, what happens is even where farmers have been trained 10 years ago, the reality is how we use medications, our recommendations for care of animals changes all the time. So I would always recommend that farmers stay up to date.
Discussions also surrounded poultry management. This involved looking at common diseases in poultry. They range from infectious diseases like the avian pox and Newcastle disease to non-infectious conditions like malnutrition and physical trauma. Dr. Crooks stresses that proper care of animals can help prevent the occurrence of many diseases.
All animals, whether they are human animals or otherwise, should be kept at the appropriate temperatures in the appropriate environments. They should be given adequate amounts of nutritious food. They should be given unlimited access to clean drinking water. And in many instances for farm animals, unfortunately, those aspects are neglected. We should be proactive and work to prevent disease and keep animals in as good as health as possible.
Farmers and home gardeners appreciated the knowledge shared by Dr. Crooks. Some even plan to use the information to improve their livestock operations.
I decided to attend for information purposes, and also I am thinking about getting into livestock farming, so it was ideal. Because I learned about how to take care of the chickens better, how to keep the environment safe, and that stress is the main cause of diseases in livestock farming. It would assist me more in rearing better animals.
This is my first time rearing animals, so I basically came for information on how to maximize the profitability and minimize losses. So today in particular, I found it was very interesting in terms of how they references like biochemistry and cleanliness and how that is important to the farmer and avoiding diseases, etc. It is a very great initiative, especially given the economic climate that we are in now. So in terms of divisiveness, that is something that we could use it for yourself, for to reduce the bill in the supermarkets, or even if you're doing it for production, it could be an alternative source of income. So I find it's a very good initiative.
This educational session kicked off Tobago's World Food Day 2022 calendar of events. There are other seminars on the agenda. Topics include wildlife, fish-related activities, and forage for livestock. It's time for a break, but when we return, we'll introduce you to one of Tobago's national awardees. It's coming up when Let's Talk Tobago returns.
Welcome to paradise. You will feel so nice in Tobago. This party island, the vibe is strong like white rum, boy. Party sweet on the road. From your reach, you go know.
From 1976, she had an under-15 high jump record that lasted 15 years. In 1998, she became the first Tobagonian to be certified as a netball coach. Now, in 2022, she's received a national award for her decades of work in sport. To find out more about the stalwart who is Charmaine Archer, check out this story. Retired sport coordinator Charmaine A. Archer is the third member of her family to become part of the Distinguished Society of Trinidad and Tobago, of which the president is chancellor. This honor comes after Miss Archer was awarded the Hummingbird Medal Silver for sport in the area of netball. She was honored at this year's National Awards ceremony.
It is a good feeling because you're recognized for the hard work and dedication that you would have put out, and it also indicates that your contribution was a significant and impactful one.
Miss Archer has been involved in sport since childhood. She attended Bonaccord Government Primary School, where she competed in track and field. Her passion continued at Bishop's High School in the form of basketball, netball, athletics, hockey, badminton, and tennis. Her administrative abilities revealed themselves during her secondary school days. Decades later, Miss Archer has retired, having held various management positions, particularly in the field of netball. This national awardee believes that sport is critical to our society's development.
It brings so many people from varying stratas of society together. It does a lot for us in terms of healthy lifestyles where you get involved in sport and sporting activities, and it also provides avenues beyond being a sportman for persons to pursue their careers in life.
In 2006, Charmaine's mother, Annetta Archer, received the Hummingbird Medal Gold for Education. The senior Mrs. Archer was a well-known educator who opened a preschool, the Canaan Nursery School, in 1947. It's an academic institution that's still molding and developing young minds today. In 2019, Charmaine's sister, late sporting icon Martha Archer, was awarded the Hummingbird Medal Gold in the area of sport. Like Charmaine, Martha was also heavily involved in netball.
I call myself a member of our elite family. It's an honor to, to be among them, but it's just that we come from a family where I think volunteerism and giving back and that stuff is just etched in our DNA. We just used to that, we grew up into that, and all of us, we just love being a part of something that you do responsible and rewarding activities, and it's a good feeling.
Aside from Miss Archer, Tobago had other notable names on the national awards list. Athlete Dwight St. Hilaire, Hummingbird Medal Gold for Sport Track. Athlete Akani Hislop, Hummingbird Medal Silver for Sport Track. And retired Permanent Secretary Vel Lewis, Public Service Medal of Merit Silver for Public Service and Heritage Preservation. The scenic seaside village of Lambo wants to be all that it can be. So the community is stepping up its visibility and togetherness to show just how much Lambo has to offer. They started with a fishing tournament, as you will see in this story from Crystal George.
This is what you call community pride. The village of Lambo is on a drive to foster greater togetherness in the area. So, the new Lambo Village Council executive embarked on its first official activity, with the aim to revive this seaside fishing community.
The executive, we decided that we needed to find activities or a activity to generally to start to get the community back together, to show that love and to work together and to have something to fellowship.
Lambo Village is teeming with life and energy. The blowing of the conch shell to alert passers-by that there is fresh fish available, or the melodious voices of the fishermen announcing their catch. Kingfish, redfish, dolphin, snapper. The fisher folk line the pavement with their catch of the day. So, according to President Kurt Moses, the first activity was a no-brainer, hosting a fishing tournament.
Lambo has a lot of fishermen. I think it's one of the villages that sell one of the most sort of fish on the island. So yeah, that was one of the main things that we came up. And fishing is a sport that helps relax persons. It's a sport that persons love to do. It's a sport that's good for family. And Lambo has the environment that you can stand up from the shore, off the wall and fish it.
PRO Alison Thomas says this event is the first of many to come. She says the community is intent on showing that it has as much to offer as other Tobago villages.
We want this to be a calendar event and Rise Back Lambo. Everybody must hear about Lambo. You must hear about Castara, hear about Mariah. We want you all to hear about Lambo.
To keep up with all that's going on in Lambo, as well as future activities, visit the council on Facebook at Lambo VC. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
Even with the countdown on to the main event, World Food Day 2022, Kendall Farm School is doing more than just offering training for established and prospective farmers. This time, the school hosted an open day. Here's more in this story. Eggs at a subsidized price was the main attraction at Kendall Farm School's open day. This was just one of the many food items on sale. Despite the inclement weather, residents did not miss the opportunity to purchase their share of goods, including plants, seedlings, preservatives, vegetables, or ground provision.
I find it is something that is very great and affordable for the people and them who cannot afford to buy on the outside market. They come here and get full requirements of the eggs and other produce like corn and cucumber and other things that we have.
It's a very good initiative because it is showing people that the said produce in the field, we can use it to make different items and that we have to go back to the way of agriculture.
A plant clinic station was available for those needing expert diagnosis of their crops' ailments. Educational sessions for students were also on the agenda. Principal of Kendall Farm School, Kishel Percy, gives some insight into the purpose of this agricultural center.
It's responsible for training, right, farmers and public, well, members of the public in different agricultural aspects, both in demonstration and theory. And today we're just showcasing a little bit of what we really plant here and what we do here today.
I would encourage others, when they have these things, I would encourage schools to take part in these initiatives. I would encourage children because children have a certain concept of farming and agriculture, and right now they are seeing how important and valuable it is.
The event was part of the World Food Day activities taking place throughout October. Other open days have been scheduled for agricultural stations like Hope Farm, Louisdor Nurseries, and Goldsboro Demonstration and Training Center. We have to take another break, but don't go away. Let's Talk Tobago will be right back. Stay with us.
Welcome to paradise. You will feel so nice in Tobago. This party island, the vibes it's strong like white rum, boy. Party sweet on the road. From your reach you go know. It's back and non-stop. This song go leave we and come back, boy. Party sweet.
October is the month of entertainment in Tobago. Carnival is just around the corner, and just before the grand festival, it's the Tobago Music and Culture Festival. Everyone knows who the headline act is, so let's just get straight to the details in this story from Crystal George.
Young cast, last, now everybody go to breakfast.
When you hear this line, it can only mean one thing. The African heavy hitter is gearing up to grace the shores of beautiful Tobago. Tomac, the Tobago Music Arts and Cultural Festival, has been on everyone's tongue for the past month because the festival is about to host one of the biggest events on the island. So, what is Tomac all about?
The Tomac Festival, as we call it, Tobago Music Arts and Culture Festival, was born out of the pandemic and lockdown as a follow-on to some work that the Pride of Tobago Foundation, Catch the Wave Solutions, we had begun to support young entrepreneurs and the creatives in particular in Tobago. And in conceptualizing the festival, it was really about a passion and a purpose to give back to Tobago. So this Tomac, Tobago Music Arts and Culture, speaks to itself. Tobago first at the forefront.
Tomac will feature one of today's hottest international artists, Grammy Award-winning Nigerian Afrobeat star Burna Boy, aka the African Giant. Organizer Corelli Lyon says this is more than just a concert. She sees the event as an opportunity for Tobago and Nigeria to connect across the diaspora through its common lineage and heritage. Meanwhile, Lion says getting Burna Boy here was only possible through divine intervention.
It's a coming together of our peoples with unique talents to take on the world and put ourselves on the world stage. His Excellency, the Nigerian High Commissioner, has come out and endorsed Tomac and the festival. And there it is we set about, we said we are going to bring to Tobago one of our Nigerian brothers or sisters, and Burna Boy came about.
Ms. Corelli says it wasn't easy getting Burna Boy here, but through prayer and faith, Tobago will witness history in the making.
My Nigerian brother, sitting out in Nigeria, says to me, my sister, why don't you call Burna's mom? So I'm like, call Burna's mom. He said, yes, I can send you her number. Expressed to her and shared with her what our mission and purpose was in this reconnecting with Africa, reconnecting, recognizing that many of us have roots in Igbo and some of the other Nigerian tribes, and the rest is history.
Organizers of this Tomac event are ensuring no stones are left unturned during this 5-day festival. So it will include
a very important segment that is going to be provided throughout on each day of the event, and that is what we call DNA testing to determine your roots, your ancestral roots.
Tomac, which runs from October 23rd to the 27th, is just one step towards this goal. October 27th is the main event, but the festival will feature a series of events starting with the opening ceremony on Sunday 23rd. All events will be held at Plymouth Recreation Ground. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
We stay with the Tomac Festival, which is being promoted as the Caribbean's premier sustainable cultural event. It's set to expand visibility and knowledge of the Afro and Caribbean lineage and heritage across the diaspora. The festival will feature a very special celebration. We have more in this story.
Of course, when one hears Tomac Festival, the first thing that comes to mind is African musical giant Burna Boy. But there are other aspects of the festival that will connect its audience with its African heritage. The backdrop of it all is Plymouth. Wondering why?
The area that is now a beach, I guess, was considered an important port. It was a natural harbor, and so it was easy for ships to come in. So the Dutch came in, the Colanders came in, and they were followed by the British and the French. The British made a settlement here in Fort James, and there are forts that were also set up by the Dutch and the Colanders. Right, so it became an important town under the British.
Plymouth's own Lord Nelson will also be honored as part of the festival. This is being done as a symbol of empowerment. October 24th will be deemed Lord Nelson Tribute Day. It features a walk in history, Nyam Yard, Picnic Yard, a festival village stage, and the Lord Nelson Love Day concert featuring Kess the Band.
You can come from humble beginnings and reach very far. Now, at 91, you are still performing. At 91, you are still being heaped honors on you, and nobody would have thought that a boy from a fishing village would end up on the world stage being quoted by everyone. So that the whole idea behind that, this and the location, was to merge and create a heritage village.
Literary workshops will also be hosted, along with e-commerce seminars. Dr. Pemberton says it's all about holding on to traditions and strengthening our African identity. Schools around the Plymouth-Bethesda district will also enjoy a special activity.
What we call the I can, you can, we can activity. It is about getting rid of material that would be normally considered waste and finding other ways to repurpose them so that we do not have a buildup of garbage.
This festival is a social enterprise that uses art, traditions, and cultural experiences to build bridges between music, sustainability, and the good of humanity.
We've come to the end of yet another edition of Let's Talk Tobago. And as always, we thank you for watching. Please email us with your comments or queries about the program, and be sure to visit our website, like our Office of the Chief Secretary Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. For more on Villa 13, you can contact Janelle at Pint Sites Paradise at 497-9263 or Candice Washington at 312-9735. From our house to yours, I'm Amadara Mills, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and very productive week.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates Morning Show, your one and only favorite Youth Wednesdays in Tobago. My name is Dwayne Nurse. We are here live in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago, and I'm ably joined with
Luke Trim, and today Tobago Updates goes pink as we join people from all over the world to commemorate Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So it's all about showing support for everyone affected by breast cancer and also raise awareness to the disease. So I'm also joined with our female and very beautiful youth host, Kaylee Lewis.
Good Wednesday morning, Tobago. As previously mentioned, today on Tobago Updates, we are commemorating Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
All right. And we are all, all varying shades of pink.
50 shades of pink.
I made sure I wore this to make sure that the pink pop and it wouldn't look too white. I want to make sure that I represent. And to all those breast cancer survivors, those young ladies, I want to, share in the experience and share and celebrate with you guys this morning. What happened in this space besides breast cancer awareness, though?
I saw the EMA sent out something yesterday with the construction works going on in Tobago, but we'll get into that at another time.
Yes, I am anticipating the administration's response to that. Anything else? Burner Boy.
Yeah, Burner Boy is coming
next week.
And Soca Jam is soon. I wonder if I'll be there. Would you be there?
I am not certain. But Luke promised to sing us our first two lines of Burner Boy, ably joined by Kaylee Lewis. So after four,
I do not recall such.
Yeah, I have no memory of that. I
understand there's a lot on the brain these days, so you would forget.
So
that's why
you will follow. You lead and we may follow.
I can't sing.
Well, I can't sing either.
You're sitting down on your line. No.
We'll sing for them next week, I promise.
Anyway, guys, we have a lot for you guys, but we want to head over to Kaylee Lewis for news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Dwayne and Luke. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, 19th October, 2022. In our top story, the Environment Management Agency expressed concerns about the construction of several infrastructural projects in Tobago. In a press release issued, the EMA noted that many of the works are on the way without a certificate of environmental clearance. A CEC is needed to ensure there is little or no negative impact on the environment and human health. Some citizens also raised environmental concerns about a stage being constructed in the sea in Scarborough. However, the Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, Trevor James, explained the stage is under construction for the Tobago Carnival and that the time-sensitive nature of such projects requires bypassing some of the usual procedures. Meanwhile, former Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and the Environment, Kwesi Devines, is concerned about the disregard for the proper procedure by the current PDP-led administration of the THA. Speaking as a guest at the Minority Council last night, Devines explained that that procedures are in place to safeguard Tobago against ill-conceived infrastructural projects. And while the PDP promised to govern with transparency and accountability, he said they are not keeping their promise to Tobagonians and are engaging in projects arrogantly. And nationally, Minister of Social Development and Family Services, Donna Cox, stated that Trinidad and Tobago is progressing in eradicating poverty. She spoke at a ceremony commemorating the United Nations International Day of the Eradication of Poverty. Cox explained that measures announced in the recently read national budget validate the government's commitment to eradicating poverty. Two of those measures are the increase of the personal tax allowance to $7,500 and the establishment of the National Register for Vulnerable Persons. That was your news in 90 seconds. It's back to you, Dwayne and Luke.
Thank you very much, Kaylee, for that news in 90 seconds. Now, in the youth space on Wednesdays, we call it Woman Crush Wednesdays. Right. So you all have been so accustomed to Dwayne and I leading the birthdays, but today we're going to do it a bit different. So, Kaylee, I heard we have a few birthdays today.
Yes, we most definitely do. We want to kickstart the birthdays, sending out birthday greetings to Len Phillips. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Len Phillips. In addition, we also want to send birthday greetings to Jariel Hosford. Jariel, we hope that you're having a wonderful day today. Happy birthday to you from the Tobago Updates team. Also, we want to send birthday greetings to Daniel Anton. Good morning, Daniel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Birthday greetings extended to you.
And next on the list, we have the very beautiful Brittany Romeo, my past Spanish teacher. Oh God, that is teacher for your money, Dwayne.
Yes, and I needed to join in here because she was also my teacher at Speyside High School. And you know, it's a teacher that I quite admire.
Correct.
She was very meticulous, she was very upright and upstanding.
And very classy also.
Very classy.
We love Miss Romeo.
So happy birthday goes out to you, from both of us and the Tobago Updates family. But especially from Luke and I.
Yes. Yeah. Who do we have next, Dwayne?
Oh, we have Miss Beverly Monroe. Hey. Beverly, morning. Happy birthday to you. Now I had to switch this one up a little bit, man. I know Beverly very much. She goes to my church. I want to wish you a happy birthday. I hope I could pass a cake and some juice later. If not, I will take a kiss cake, right? So happy birthday to you. Enjoy, and birthday comes from, greetings also comes to you from Simon and from your mother, Alison Monroe Sterling, dad, Brent, and sister. Happy birthday to you. So that's it for birthdays, guys. We're gonna go straight to the rundown. And what do we have on the rundown this morning?
Well, Dwayne, continuing with our dynamic Woman Crush Wednesdays, we have a panel of very powerful women.
Yes.
So to start us off, we're going to bring in a Dr. Solandi. She will be talking about breast cancer and early detection. Next, we're going to bring in Lauren Edu. Miss Edu, someone that I know personally. I'm happy to interview her. And who do we have next?
Oh, we have a very much a surprise for you guys this morning. Something that you will not expect. However, you know, I know you guys are a fan of surprises. Not so me, because I just jump, right? And you know, the heart not so good. But this is a very pleasant surprise this morning. And you know, our last interview will be definitely one that is informative and so on. So that's it for the rundown for this morning.
Nice.
Please stay tuned for that surprise. Please join us for that surprise.
So what we have to tell the viewers to do now?
Can we bring in Kaylee in this as well, please?
Of course. So on 3, 1, 2, 3. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Surrender your body to ecstasy. Join the army of dancing feet. A force of nature meets ritualistic splendor on the sexiest Saturday in Tobago East. We celebrate 12 years of memories and our love for Roxborough's Juve. On Saturday, 22nd October, revel in powder, revel in paint, and Soca. Jam on the road and jam by the water. From 3 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Argyle Waterfall on October 22nd. No Behavior Crew summons you. Come to the Hideout. It's a Juve jam.
That's all the big son. Bungie, you remember them days? Well, alright, Bungie might remember them. Ian Alvarez remember them. Don't forget the rest of the union. Forget the rest. Me and you talking alone there. Ian, remember the days when you went to the fridge with your hot break in your hand to get blue band butter, but the blue band butter done. And you went for the yellow, the golden ray. Think they're shaking it. No, listen, you don't know what that is when you bite a baked golden ray, my dear. Once that big hot with golden ray,
Saturday, November 5th, Shore Park, Tobago. It's Million Laughs Caribbean Comedy Commerce, the mega laugh festival to end the Tobago Carnival season, featuring Tobago's finest in folklore and musical entertainment, together with some of the Caribbean's top comedians, Larry Joseph, Daryl the Saint Mendoza, Dolores, Alan the Entertainer, Handsome Son, Mako Media, and more. Get your ticket specials available on Island E-Tickets and various outlets nationwide, or visit the Million Laughs handles for more info. It's Comedy Commerce in Tobago, a wee kind of commerce.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Youth Morning Show. This morning, it's all about breast cancer awareness. And on set with us, we have Dr. Salandi. Good morning, Dr. Salandi, and how are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing fine.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
No problem at all. Glad to hear that you're doing well. So, to kickstart this morning's conversation, based on my research, it is known that breast cancer is most common in more mature women. How often will you say you have seen a breast cancer case in a younger female? Or is it that it is the truth? Breast cancer is most common in more mature females.
From research, breast cancer is indeed more common in more mature females from 50 upwards. However, we are noticing an increased prevalence of breast cancer in younger women, usually those who have like a first-line relative, an aunt, a sister, their mommy who may have had breast cancer. They have increased risk of having breast cancer. So although the statistics show that 50 and over, the prevalence is higher than, we are seeing increasing levels of breast cancer in younger women.
Okay, great. And regarding self-testing, how often do you recommend that females self-test? Because I can say that from my personal experience, actually this year, October, makes it 1 year since I would have done a surgery to remove a breast lump. And I think that is something that I could have detected much earlier if I engaged in regular self-testing. I think that as young persons, as young females, you know, we think that we're healthy and we're fit, and as you would have previously said, the statistics show that it is mainly mature females. So we think that, you know, we can escape this thing, breast cancer. So when you're feeling a little pain, sometimes a little swelling, you just brush it off as PMS. So how often do you suggest females undergo self-testing?
Okay, and I must interject here just before I go into the self-testing that men get breast cancer too. And when they get it, it is even more aggressive. So men, you also have to learn how to self-test. So, women, we have our period usually every month. Just before our period, we would experience breast pain and there are changes in our breast. So we usually recommend that about 1 week after your period, you do your self-checks. So you go in front of a mirror, you take off everything on top, including your bra. You go in front of a mirror, you raise your hands like this straight up, and you look at your breast. When you look, you observe if there's dimpling. Imagine a nice, cute, what we like dimples on the cheek. If you see that on your breast, that is not normal. If your nipple starts, if you normally have nipples that are inverted from birth, that's okay. But if your nipples are normally facing out and it's now facing in, then you have cause for concern. If you notice that you are leaking fluid and you are not breastfeeding, that's cause for concern. If your breast, usually as women, we have one breast that is slightly bigger than the other. If all of a sudden you realize when you look in the mirror, but wait, my breast is suddenly increasing in size, one breast than the other, it's cause for concern. If there's a change in the skin or if it's scarring, it's cause for concern. And never forget, never woman, please never forget to look under your arm. Yes, your armpits. Sometimes the lump is right there hiding, since some of our breast tissue extends below the arm. So that's the looking part. Now the feeling part, you lie down, and if you are going to do your right breast, you put this hand behind your head and use your left hand to examine, or vice versa. When you are examining, you have to learn a pattern, because you have to know your breast, get to know it well. So you lay down and you choose if you want to go up to down and down up, whatever is comfortable to you. Some women prefer the circular way. And you feel your breast for any lumps you didn't feel before. You squeeze the nipple to see if anything is coming out of it. And you check under your armpits always. Always do that. Now, some women normally have lumpy breasts. So therefore, it is so important to check your breast every month. See if a new lump appears, you would know. So the women who don't have a period, you are already menopausal, or you had your womb removed for some reason, what you do since you don't have a period to guide you, you pick a specific day of the month and follow that day every month. If it's the 25th, the 31st, the 1st, whatever day you pick, set an alarm on your phone, and you remember today is my breast check day, my self-testing day. And that will help in early detection, because once we detect breast lumps or breast cancer very early, we can act quickly And therefore you have a very good prognosis. You can live 20 years, 30 years after the fact.
Okay, great. So after examining yourself, let's say you would have discovered a breast lump, because I can recall discovering this foreign object in my body. And you know, as young persons, people in general, the first place we run to is Google. So I went to Google, and the information that I would have received is that I would have to do a mammogram. When I consulted my doctor, however, I was told that I have to do an ultrasound. What is the significant difference between a mammogram and an ultrasound? Because if we look at the makeup of the mammogram machine, it's two and they clamp down onto the breast.
Yes.
Is it that the ultrasound is preferred for females with smaller breasts, or is it that the mammogram is for females who are more mature?
Okay, so the mammogram is really like an X-ray of the breast where everything is pressed down. So in the mammogram, you will see different spots. Any little spot, or if you have lumpy breast, everything will show up. But the ultrasound, the technician is able to zone in if they see a lump, zone in and look at the characteristics based on how the lump is, what it's shaped like. So the ultrasound is actually a better guide when you are checking for cancer. Yes, the mammogram gives us information, but if the mammogram picks up on something, they always recommend an ultrasound. And a lot of people like to come into the office, Dr. Solange, I want a mammogram, but there are guidelines. 50 and over, it's every 2 years if you are moderate risk. If, however, you have a family member who had breast cancer, or you yourself had breast cancer before and you are following up, then you start at a young age, 40 and above, or depending on when you discovered your lump or breast cancer, your diagnosis, you may have to have it every year. So for someone who has been diagnosed with breast cancer, your healthcare provider, along with oncology team, will give you a specific role or protocol to follow in continuous check for your breast. So ultrasound is an extremely good guide. So if you can't get a mammogram, have no fear, my dear ladies, an ultrasound can work just as fine too.
Okay, great. Before I forget, there's a burning question that someone had, and I'd like you to confirm whether it's true or not. The question is, females who are nursing, females who have babies, are at a lower risk of getting breast cancer because, you know, they have the child sucking on their breast. Is it that a female who doesn't have any children, how else can she access this type of prevention? Is it a preventative measure?
No.
It isn't?
No. What we have discovered from research is that women who have children after the age of 30, their first child, or women who never breastfed, are at higher risk for breast cancer. If you are unable to have children, or you could not breastfeed for a medical condition, then it is not something that you can change per se. What I recommend is that if you have children, you breastfeed if you can. But there are some things in life that it doesn't depend on someone. So if they can't have children, there's nothing they can do about it. But just keep praying, eating a healthy diet, reduce smoking, reduce alcohol use, because yes, that's a risk factor. All of these things combined on a whole reduces your risk. They can do those changes.
Okay, so with that not being a preventative measure, you mentioned diet. Now we know that there are a lot of persons who are extremely healthy and they too would have experienced breast cancer. Yes. How significant will you say diet is in preventing breast cancer?
Right, so on a whole, generally, having a balanced diet puts your body at optimal state, so that you help to prevent disease on a whole. So diet is very good. However, unfortunately, 15% of persons, although they follow a very good diet, they have a genetic change. So due to that, there's nothing that they can do per se due to the BRCA1 gene. And I know you'll see that on Google, and most of us will scare ourselves, but BRCA1 or 2 gene, 15% of them will have breast cancer due to that. And the rest of us, there are things we can do. The diet, yes, helps to keep our body healthy, but there are some things that are non-preventable. And many of my patients, I cannot pinpoint why would this person have had breast cancer, even though they followed a healthy diet. We just can't pinpoint it. This is just life. Life is unfair. Illnesses happen. We can just do our best, and sometimes bad things happen, even though we do our best. What is the catch is what we do when it happens and how can we prevent it. And very important, early detection. Self-test, self-test, self-test. Learn your breast. Men too, check. Please, check your breast.
Okay, so this month, in addition to breast cancer awareness, you know, there's a lot of talk about mental health in this space. Let's say someone does have breast cancer. What are some, from your doctor perspective, what are some coping mechanisms that you can suggest?
Okay. Number one, well, Tobago, we come from a highly religious society, and anyone who is diagnosed with anything, including cancer, breast cancer, pray, go to your spiritual guide, your pastor, if you're a Muslim, you go to the mosque, you speak to whoever you have to speak to, you get your spiritual counseling. In our medical system, we have counselors. If you come to me and you're diagnosed with cancer and you're stressed, you go, you seek counseling. Too long have we scorned mental health. You should access mental health counseling just as you access a doctor for hypertension, diabetes. Read a lot, don't scare yourself on Google, read a lot. Talk to other women who may have had the same experience, who have been there. They will give you different ideas how you can cope with it. And with that, remember that this does not have to be a death sentence. It does not have to be. Each day you get up and you try to get through today. You eat well, stop smoking, reduce your alcohol. And if you're really depressed about it, come in and have a chat with us at the health center, and we will send you to someone who is trained specifically to talk to you about this.
Okay, great. And in terms of relaying the information to our patients, I really like to watch movies. And I know usually when doctors in the movies are telling a family about death, there's a specific way in which they have to do it. When you are telling a patient that they have breast cancer, is there a specific way that you have to do it? Because I can recall being told that I had to do a surgery. Now, thankfully, let me just clear the air.
Yes, you have to.
My lump was non-cancerous.
Praise God.
But when I received the information that I would have to, you know, do a surgery to remove it, to send it for testing and all like that, I did not receive the information in the best way. I remember it being a very scary experience. I felt as though my life flashed before my eyes, because in reality, when you hear the word cancer, the first thing you're going to think is that you're going to die.
Yes.
So is there a specific way that you as a doctor have to relay the information to our patients?
Okay. Well, compassion and empathy, most important things. Put yourself in the person's positions. I'm female, so I at that moment when I receive a biopsy result and it's cancerous, I usually take a few minutes. I will chit-chat with the patient about something else while in my mind I'm thinking of what to say. And I usually said, well, I need you to sit and listen carefully. I have something to tell you. And they usually said, Doc, it's something bad. I said, yes, but it does not mean that you're going to die. And they say, okay, Doc, tell me the result. And I will take my time and I will explain the result. And I will give them time. Some of them may want to cry in the room. I will allow them to cry. You know, I'll pat them on their back. Some people, I'll pray with them if they are willing for that, to do that. And I let them know that this is not the end of the world. I also let them know that I'm available. You can come in to see me. At any day you feel like you just can't handle it mentally, you come in. It's a lot about compassion, and you put yourself in the person's shoe, and you imagine how I imagine how I would like somebody to tell me. I wouldn't like them to come and say, well, nah, things bad, they have cancer. No, I would like them to sit down, take their time, and explain. I must see the empathy, the love, the care pouring from that person. And I try to do the same with my patients. There's no set protocol. You just use the compassion, empathy, and years of experience in working with patients. That's how we do it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Solandi, for speaking with us this morning. We definitely appreciate the information. I know that a lot of young men and women out there would have also received the information very well. So viewers, we have a very packed show for you this morning, a lot of exciting things happening. So please stay tuned and remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Is the affordable critical illness plan you need. Cover expenses up to $1 million. Tattoo Life, guaranteed protection.
different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Excel Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
It's me, Iowa George Tobago. This is Iowa George. I want to invite you to a week of Iowa George on board the embassy. Boarding 2 o'clock every day and we're sailing at 3 o'clock. I just want all you to take a time off for your work. I never tell you to duck your work. I ain't tell you to run away from the people work. All I tell you is ask your boss for a time out because the boat boarding 2 o'clock this Monday, this Tuesday, this Wednesday, this Thursday, this Friday, 5 days of Iowa. Hey, the tickets is only $200. Or they could bring all a cooler and all they could bring food, right? We boarding on the Pigeon Point jetty. Or they could get all their tickets same day tickets. Or they could get all their tickets on Island Ticket or Iowa Station, Storby Local Road out in Crown Point. So get your ticket early in this week. First come, first serve. You don't want to miss out of that.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, before we get into this segment, we have a notice here from the Mount Pleasant Credit about a special meeting. And it reads that here we have a notice from the Mount Pleasant Credit Union saying that notice is hereby given to the special general meeting of the Mount Pleasant Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited, and it would be held on the 1st of November 2022 at the Tobago Nutrition Cooperative Society located at Bonacor, Tobago, commencing at 4:30 p.m. Now, the purpose of this meeting is to consider and approve amendments to the credit union's bylaws. The bylaws can be accessed via the link on the credit union's Facebook page and the credit union website. Members are asked to register on or before Wednesday, 26 October 2022 by order of the Board of Directors. Now, if you're looking for a little Wednesday motivation, don't move an inch, because her story of resilience during a period where life was throwing her the toughest battles is one of inspiration for all. No stranger to us here at Tobago Updates, as 1 year ago, she shared her story about her breast cancer diagnosis and her treatment journey. Today, she's back again to tell her story from a different perspective, a more triumphant perspective. So, without further ado, allow me to introduce Miss Lorraine Edu. A special morning to you, and how are you doing?
I am good. Thank you so much for having me back to the Update family.
Nice. The pleasure is ours. So, Miss Edu, cancer. It's a word that will send shivers down your spine, make your whole world stop, but thankfully you're here today as a survivor. So how does it feel to be a cancer survivor?
It feels great. I mean, Sometimes when I say that, I stop immediately and the smile kind of recedes because I think of all my friends and other persons who did not make it. I am told it's called survivor's guilt, but it feels great to be a survivor. There's life after breast cancer and it really feels good, but it is a journey. So you don't just celebrate and that's it. It is a journey and you have to be take care of yourself on this journey.
Wow, and I could only imagine how much details and substance that journey will have. Now, a little birdie told me that you have a whole master's degree now. So tell us more about that degree and what was the driving agent that led you to go for that degree?
So look, I started the degree before the breast cancer. It was in the middle, breast cancer came. Now, when I was on the show last time, I didn't say anything about it because the way I was feeling and what I had been through, I said, look, I don't think I could go back and finish this degree because it's a lot of work, plenty reading, a lot of assignments, research, and a lot of stuff. So I thought to myself, you see, this cancer not the wind up my sail. I wasn't sure I was going to continue. But when you have the kind of family and the motivation behind you, and I specifically had Dr. Verlene Bob Lewis, you know Dr. Bob?
Yes, Dr. Bob.
She was like a bee buzzing in my ear. If this no-foot woman could do PhD without foot, you could do it, you could do it. And I kept hearing that. You know, so I finally decided, all right, Lorraine, finish what you started. On top of which, Luke, I have two children, one 13 and one 15. And I've always taught them never give up. Whatever you start, finish. So there was I thinking, oh God, them children would think that mommy start that and she ain't finish and they might want to follow in that path. So I said, listen, Lorraine, get up. No matter what, get up and finish this degree. And so I started doing that. Now, when I started back doing that now, a month after, COVID took my eldest brother. And that was, our family went through a hard time with that. The weight went down, he caught it at the hospital, brought it home, infected about 13 other family members, unknown. It was a tailspin while I doing my degree. After that kind of settled down and I get up back the momentum again and I'm going. By the time we make August, we lost my brother-in-law, who was like another big brother. And I say, Lord, is this a sign? Should I finish this? Should I fight up? What is going on? It took me a month to ask them for a couple of weeks break. And then I get up and I go on again. By the time we get to December of last year, Luke, preparing for elections on the 6th, I was in Trinidad because my husband wasn't too well. He was in the hospital there. Mommy was ailing, but she was my fighter, my backbone, my rock. I got a call election morning about 5 o'clock, Mommy gone.
Oh my God.
I say, that is it. I ain't fighting up. By the time we make 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock the night, my sister gone from COVID. I say, oh gosh. So I wrote the university, I say, I'm taking a break and I don't know if and when I'm coming back. Because I couldn't think about anything. It was devastating. There was no words to explain. I don't know if I'm crying for Mommy, I don't know if I'm crying for my sister. I don't know who I'm grieving for. All I know is that I just couldn't go anymore and like my world stopped.
Wow, Miss Edu. So I'm wondering, like, where was your mental health during all of this? So, like, how did you hold on during? Because listening to your story, I don't even think I could handle that. And to see you here this morning, you know, you're full of life, you're full of energy. Where was your mental health during all these battles?
Here now, it is important your circle, the people around you. While I was going through this, I felt the prayers of especially my church family. Now, from the time people in Tobago, especially here, cancer, oh, the big C, nobody wants to talk about it. But you see, for me, the big C is Christ. That is my rock, my mainstay, my foundation, my everything. My big C is Christ. Had it not been for the Lord on my side, I would not have been sitting here to be talking about no master's degree. And that master's is not even to show or to, show myself. That is for somebody this morning who is watching on, as well as my children and my nieces, nephews, family members, and those who know me, to tell you, no matter what life serves you, fight. Once God wakes you up in the morning, get up and fight. Especially if cancer is what you're facing, know in your heart and in your mind one time, this is fight you're talking about. This is not for the weak at heart. This is not for the faint at heart who feel like giving up. This is not for you. If you know you want to live, you have to think fight.
Wow, that's beautiful, Miss Edu. And I remember sometime I was scrolling on TikTok and I saw this quote that says, everything you're going through, every battle, every trial, it's all preparing you for something great that hasn't happened yet. So when you received your master's degree, how did you feel after going through so much?
Oh my God, I saw my neighbors heard me. I started to shout hallelujah and praise the Lord. My children run outside to see what's going on. And I showed them, oh God, and we hugged and we laughed and I cried and we just celebrated. I just found that it was a milestone I never thought I would have gotten to, but I did get to it. You can make it, you can do it. Nothing is impossible with God. I believe that now in my heart. So it's a wonderful feeling.
Oh, wow, that's really, really nice.
And Luke, I also want to say to young people, if you're in a field and you're passionate about it, like I am passionate about early childhood, you want to be considered an expert in the field. You want to be a person they can come to for advice in the field. And in order to do that, you have to sharpen your tools. You have to to go there and advance yourself, get the relevant information, be current about what is going on. So now, and even before now, I consider myself an expert in early childhood because it has been 28 years. So now that I'm working with the division as a manager in the early childhood field, I consider myself an expert, someone who knows about children and their education, early childhood. That's my thing.
That's really good that you stress on that, because what a lot of people don't know is that in December 2020, I had the privilege of basically working alongside you, Dr. Bob, everybody, and being around people like you all with such a dynamic of education. It was inspiring to me, especially when I was going through school. I used to have the same iPad loud with school, and listening to you all conversing, I used to tell myself, you know what, look, I want to be like these people. I want to be where they are, and you all are really inspiration. I don't even think you understand the impact you all have on youths like me looking on, and it's really a sight to see. So during the entire interview, you kept hinting at your support network. So who are these people? Who are your support network that really held you down during this journey?
Well, to start with my husband, I always talk about him. He like a rock. That is my ride or die. We have been together since secondary school.
Nice.
I doesn't like to say that too hard because I don't want to get my daughter to be thinking about no boyfriend. And she's loved to come back and say, Mommy, so when did you first meet Daddy? So I don't like to talk about it too long. She asked me this morning, so how am I going to see the program? I say, you'll see it later when I come home. So he has been there. And let me just pause a little to talk to the men. When your women, your spouses, your partners going through this rough time, we need you. We need you. We need that support. Men, we need you. Don't run. Stand. Stand your ground like the man God make you, and stand with us. Because we need that support. There were days when he had to carry me to the bathroom. He ain't no big, strong. If you see him, he's a kind of nasty Indian guy. But he's a lion in the heart. Strong. Him, my immediate family, my big extended family, wow. They were my cooks, my support. My brother and his wife were my cooks while I was doing treatment in Trinidad. When I came to Tobago, my nieces and they took up the role. So they were my cooks, my support. They supported my children, everything. And then, of course, my church family.
Yes.
They have my back no matter what. And many other families. So the people around you are very important.
Yes,
they can make or break you.
Correct.
You see, when they break down and don't know what to do and ready to give up, that's what they feed you. But you see, when they say, nah, you had to fight. Like my husband and I had to decide, well, both breasts. And then this is the second time cancer coming back. We had to make some hard decisions, and we made them, and we decided, look, we're going to fight this thing. This is not going to get us. And if you don't have that around you, it's difficult, but it is not impossible. Because I know not everybody would have that. So if you don't have that, look to your church family. If you don't have that, up at the oncology unit, have some ladies, some nurses, some doctors. They're like family. You could find the support that you need. I found it. It's right here in Tobago. You too can find it.
That's beautiful,
Yes.
Miss Edu. So it seems to me that you're now in a period of your life where you're just experiencing the highest quality of everything and everything life has to offer. You know, you're just enjoying those good days. So being a survivor of cancer, what changed perspective do you have on life now?
Wow, that's the best question yet. Because I would tell you, Luke, before all of this, you really used to let people get into your mind, second guess you, question your decisions, get into your space, say things and you fuss about it, and all of that. You see, after this, none of that dirty water ain't getting back in my boat. Not getting back in my boat. Doesn't matter what you say or you think, you're entitled to your opinion, but it does not get into my boat. I know who I am, proud of who I am, know that God has given me this second chance and He has work for me to do. I can't be bothered with the little nitty-gritties that are not important. So my new perspective is that I was broken because I have more inside to shine and to pour out. And as many people as I can pour out to and bless on my journey, that's my new perspective. So the things would always come up. Life would always serve all sorts of stuff. You have to know how to minor on those and major on what you know is your purpose.
Wow, and it's great to hear that you were gracefully broken, because I know they say in the Christian world, in order to get the breakthrough, you have to go through the breakdown. And to see you are here surviving the breakdown, wow, it's amazing. So lastly, what do you think can be done more for women on the island when it comes to factors such as education, the healthcare system, or even the workplace for these women who are going through their journey of fighting cancer?
First and foremost, ladies, Tobagonians, my sisters, please, when you get a diagnosis, don't hide. Or before the diagnosis, when you feel the lumps, talk to somebody. Go and find out what you're dealing with. Don't hide, don't run, don't hide away home, not telling anybody, don't want anybody to know. The breast starts swelling, it's hurting. You're waiting until it's too late. I heard the doctor before talk about early detection. Early detection can save your life. Don't hide. We're so private as a society. Everything is my business. You see this? This is not my business thing. Early detection. And there are people out there who are going to help you, who can help you. So you must learn that. So you fight, you go to find out what it is your problem, and then you learn how to deal with it. To do that, go to your oncologist, go to your doctors. You have the Cancer Society, you have the Pink Room over here. My favorite people are Pink Hibiscus in Trinidad. If you can't afford them, the Cancer Society is just as fine. But go find out what you're dealing with, and then get the help. There are people waiting and willing to help you. And as well as my family up at the oncology unit, you can trust them. They are some of the finest nurses in the island. I believe in the world. So you can also go to them.
Nice. So, Miss Idu, I just want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes.
This was a really nice segment.
Yes.
And, you know, I hope your story reaches more people and touches more hearts. So, viewers, that was a very inspirational segment. And we'll be back right after this. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Welcome to the March Parfait Day Spa and Wellness Center, your premier spa experience located at Bonaccord, Tobago. Visit us today for facials, cellulite treatments, body contours, body treatments, pedicures, manicures, and much more. We have gift cards for all occasions and corporate events. Connect with us on Facebook at Le March Parfait Day Spa or call us 273-7772.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti served with chokers, bull joil and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Remember life before 2020? Remember 2019 and behind, go back. Okay, remember them times? You forgot it, me too. So much of new norms. We walking around like bandits. We have curfews. Shops closing early. You bastards, one long time. In 2019, when it sneeze, what people say? Yes, you try to bastards in this room right now.
Saturday, November 5th, Shore Park, Tobago. It's Million Laughs Caribbean Comedy Commerce, the mega laugh festival to end the Tobago Carnival season, featuring Tobago's finest in folklore and musical entertainment, together with some of the Caribbean's top comedians: Larry Joseph, Daryl the Saint Mendoza, Dolores, Alan the Entertainer, Handsome Sun, Mako Media, and more. Get your ticket specials available on Island E-Tickets and various outlets nationwide, or visit the Million Laughs handles for more info. It's Comedy Commerce in Tobago, a wee kind of commerce.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Tobago, are you ready for time off? October 17th till the 21st, it's on board the luxurious Embassy yacht. On board the luxurious Embassy yacht. It's the Pump to Tobago Carnival event featuring people like Iowa George alongside the Street 919 DJs. So walk with your coolers, walk with your food. Remember the boarding time? What's the boarding time? I didn't tell her yet. But it's 2 p.m. sailing from promptly at no, my bad. I get a little bit too excited. A little bit too excited, right? But the time is 2 p.m. right? But it starts. But they're leaving the harbor at Pigeon Point Jetty at 3 p.m. right? So be there at 2 p.m. So you could be on time, right? Where can you get your tickets? Get your tickets at the 919 office in Tobago, and that's all. If you want more information, you could call 485-3862. Remember, it's time off the pre-Carnival Tobago Carnival event from Monday the 17th of October till the 21st on board the Embassy yacht every day. Enjoy. Right, so that was my first stint at a China thing day, but I'll get better over time, you know. Don't do that to me again because I'm increasing my fees. But this morning we want to continue with our interviews for the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And this morning we have a surprise guest, and our surprise guest is, drumroll please, Miss Rhea George. Yes, Miss Rhea George is joining with us this morning, not as host, but as one of our guests this morning. It's pleased to have you, Miss George.
Thank you. Good morning.
And I think she looks lovely, right? But she wanted me to do something also extra special for her. This morning, in commemoration of the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, she would have done her nails. And I want the camera to zoom in on her nails. So please properly put your nails so that the people could see how patriotic you are for this event.
Definitely.
That is not enough, man.
Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can get it like this.
This nail right here has the ribbons.
That's right.
That's all I could zoom. I mean, my iPhone, already some iPhones in here, man.
And these were done by Nadia Kent. Nadia ensured that I had my pink nails. Thank you so much, Nadia. Yeah. I don't know if you got it. You got it.
You see the ribbons, guys? Yeah.
Yes.
That's how we just dub it into big updates. You know, we just the best of the best. But it's pleased to have you this morning.
Thank you.
And you know, it's not the first time I've been interviewing you on this topic.
Right.
We did this, I think, was in 2020 during the pandemic.
Yes.
You know, it was a different time then. But given this month, I want to delve straight into what we want. Usually we're having a discussion, by the way. Not necessarily an interview. Interviews are for jobs, right? So I want to begin by asking you, how did you find out? How did you find out when you I mean, for the viewers who don't know, you're a breast cancer survivor.
Yes.
But how did you find out?
All right, so let me start off by letting you know that I'm a 2-time cancer survivor.
Wow.
So the first time I found out was back in 2005 when I was pregnant with my last daughter, who is now 17. And fast forward 10 years later in 2016, thereabout, it returned, and I was just having pain the second time around. I was just having pain. It was just not associated with anything. It was pain before the period, during the period, after the period, and not major pain, but bouts of pain.
Yes.
So I thought maybe it was associated with, then I realized not, and I just watched it for a few months, and then I decided. But my former colleague who passed away, Colston Edwards, he said, Rhea, you need to get up and go and check that. You need to, don't sit and wait on it. And one morning, doing an interview where I worked before, the guest on set was the manager of the Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society. And as she spoke, she said, if you're experiencing pain, then it is a symptom and a sign that something is wrong because it's not normal. You need to get up and go and check it. And so I did. And
wow. But did you catch it in time, though?
Yes, I did. It was in the very early stages, very, very early stages. And what I found in Trinidad, where I did the tests, what they indicated was that it was very early stages in the in the right, no, in the left, in the left breast. Although I was experiencing pain in the right breast, Trinidad only picked up that it was in the early stages in the left. However, I was able to go abroad for second opinions, thirds, and it showed there that it was actually breaking into the tissue in the right as well.
Wow.
So it was, yes, in the left, but also breaking into the tissue on the right, but it was still very early stages, so they caught it in time.
Were you reluctant to go and find out, you know, just because, I mean, yes, you're getting all these prompts to go and check, but were you reluctant? Because, you know, oftentimes one of the consensus is that, you know, people are reluctant to go to find out. They don't want that news. What was that experience like for you?
I was. When it came the first time in 2005, I was very, very reluctant because you're fearful. And I heard your previous guest on set, Auntie Lorraine George Edu, and she spoke about, you know, that big C. And everybody's afraid of hearing that it is cancer, but her big C is Christ. My big C is Christ. At the time, however, I was ready to give up before the fight started. So when it came, like I said, I was afraid to go find out for sure, because I was afraid. And of course, the naysayers in your ears would be saying, you know, my granny had that and my granny did that. And my neighbor had that, you know, and you know, she did. So when you're hearing all of this around you.
Mean, and it just goes to show how we are caring, but we are not tactful in how
No, we're not.
We mean well, but we don't understand how it breaks down a person and discourages them.
That's
so
right.
it kind of is a fight in and of itself, and the society does not really encourage you. Yes, the ads might come on, go and check here, go and check, but
you're fearful. And the truth is, at the end of the day, when you look at the fact that you may have a husband and children, a partner and children, you look at your family, you look at your job, and you think of what you've accomplished and what you have not yet accomplished that you still want to. You think, do I do this? Is it that my life is over? Is that it? So you're very fearful.
Right. What about breaking the news to your family? What was that experience like? You know, and you just kind of put it into perspective that you're looking at what you have and what you're possibly going to lose, given what they will say, what the options are. What was that like for you?
It was not easy. The first time around, my two eldest, this was when I was having the third. So the two eldest, they were pretty small. They had no clue what was happening. They just knew that mommy went to the hospital to have baby. So it was while I was having baby, they did the first surgery, etc. But the second time around, the two eldest were at an age where they were able to understand better, having gone through that first experience. So they said nothing, asked nothing, did nothing. No, there were no questions. I thought maybe they didn't care, but I guess, well, upon further investigation and understanding, they mentally and emotionally, they'd been there before, and they were just watching to see what would have happened. The second time around, my last daughter was just about 10, preparing for SCE. So it was around September. It was September, and she was, you know, getting ready. She was getting ready. She was doing stuff at school, and we didn't want to disrupt that, so we decided to hold on, wait a little to see what was happening. In fact, when I started doing the tests, it was the end of the last term of school, and by the time I got the results from the test, it was about early July. And so we decided we weren't going to tell her anything until test was finished, the end of term test. We gave her a chance, and I remember us making that decision. We didn't tell anyone outside of our circle, which was my siblings, my family, my relatives, my family. And so on the evening of her last test, when she got home, we put her sit down and we told her. It was difficult, more difficult for her, because she felt that she was the cause, because she related the first time experience with her birth, because it was when I was having her that the first tumor came up in the breast, and So she felt that if I didn't have her, this wouldn't be happening to me. She felt her mommy was going to die. Her mommy even thought she was going to die. So, you know, we had all of these things, but at the same time, I had to encourage her. So I remember leaving to go abroad in September and coming home early October, mid-October, and having been away for those few weeks, and then returning, that gave somewhat of a sense of hope, because as she said, a lot of mummies leave and never come back. And I thank God that I was able to leave and come back. So that was just God preparing us for what was to come. I was down but not out.
Yeah. But moving back to you though, how did that affect you as a mother to hear that your child attributing to your circumstance to her being birthed?
Yeah.
And her saying to you upon returning that I'm glad you come back, mommy, because how did you cope with that? How were you able to navigate through all of that?
It was not easy, and if you know me, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. If I'm upset, you know I'm upset. I can't hide it. I will not hide it. But it was a very difficult process, and I mean, you look at the joy, you know, when you're pregnant, when you're having a baby, there's so much joy associated with it. And with her pregnancy, there was some level of uncertainty, because yes, I'm feeling this tumor. I'm not sure what it is. The doctors didn't know. Even when I had her, they took it out. My body was different. My body was scarred. My body looked different. I had my own emotional struggles going on about how I looked, and, you know, linking my breast to my femininity. How do I feel sexually? How do I, all of these things. And then having to deal with this child understanding that she's here by purpose. If I had to do it all over again, knowing the outcome, would I still have her? I said yes, because at the end of the day, it's about her. We wanted her. She was the only child that we planned, believe it or not. The only one out of the 3 that we planned. So if I had to do it all over again, knowing the outcome, yes, we would do it again.
Wow, and that's really, really amazing. I can't say that, you know, for me, I don't know what I would do in that circumstance. But let's quickly talk about your treatment and support.
Right.
While you were going through treatment, what was the support like from Jose, Mr. George, the man himself, and the children?
It was 100% plus. I couldn't ask for better. I had support from my husband. I had support from my children. I had support from my parents, my siblings. I had support from 2 aunties in the U.S. One, my blood auntie, the other, my Auntie Dora, how to term you. But my aunt in the States went to every appointment with me. Auntie Dora picked up the slack, anything. She said, if Auntie can't provide, call me, I'll organize. You know, but my family, they rallied around me. My mommy, and if I get emotional here, please understand. My mommy,
Tissue, please, thanks.
I have it.
Good, thanks.
But my mommy was my biggest, because I remember when I told her, she said, we're gonna make it, we're gonna get through it. I'll be good. I thought it was gonna be okay. Jesus. She was my #1 supporter. I was scared to tell her, because I was afraid that when I uttered the words that it meant that it was real. But when mommy found out, mommy said to me, she called me by my home name, she said, Candy, we're gonna make it. God is on your side. And mommy encouraged, and she encouraged. Mommy encouraged, mommy prayed. Early April was 5 years. Was 5 years of being on a drug called tamoxifen for me. I had to take 1 tablet every day for 5 years. I started early April. And mommy would be on top of me, you're taking your medication, taking yours. And April of this year, while I celebrated 5 years, I was finished with tamoxifen. I lost mommy in April, on my birthday in April. And I looked at her and I thought, but what is this? But I know that if she had to do it all over again, she'd be there and she'd be cheering me on. She would be cheering me on. But my husband, there was nothing too difficult for him to do. There were times after surgery when I couldn't even bathe myself. I couldn't move my arms. There was a picture And I promised one day to share it publicly. There's a picture of him taking out my weave after surgery. It was in a mess. But I was getting ready to go back to doctor's appointments after surgery, and my hair was in a mess. And there's a picture of him cutting out the weave because I couldn't lift my arms to do it. There's a picture of him washing my hair and twisting my hair, albeit he was twisting in all different directions and my plaits was sticking out. But he was willing, and he was cheering me on, and you know, you can't ask for anything better than that. I couldn't, at least I couldn't. So I'm really thankful. I thank God for him, and if I had to choose all over again, and I thank God I didn't choose, because usually my choices were not so good in the past, to, you know, but God chose for me. So I thank God for him. He's been an amazing, really amazing guy.
I wish I could have you all morning, but I want to ask to give some advice. First to women, both young and not so young, to men, right? Boyfriends, fiancés, husbands, brothers, fathers, and young men alike. To how do they approach these sensitive issues surrounding women, whether it be breast cancer, whether it be domestic violence, you name it, all the issues. Yeah. How do you begin to help to treat with these things?
I'm glad that you asked that question, Dwayne. The thing is, the person who is going through it's about them. It's not about you. And I would love to see, I mean, the women that I talk to all the time, I always say that I'm an open book where my life is concerned with every area of my life. All right, I am an open book. And I tell women, men, their partners really who are supporting on the sidelines. It's not about you, it's about her. She's not going to be 100% every day. But your job, and the thing is, your job is to cheer her on. Your job is to bring little or no pressure to her. So whatever you can do, do. Support. Don't. Some men tend to say, "So what you gonna do? Did you marry her because of the two beautiful 90-degree perky breasts? What happens when after all the children they're no longer at a 90-degree angle?" You understand? Can you look beyond what she looks like physically? You understand? And that's when the rubber meets the road. Can you look beyond it? Can you see a marriage surviving it? Can you see yourself growing old with this woman who now has one or who now has none? Can you? Because the road ahead is very, very long, and it's a very difficult one. It's not going to be easy. But however you can make her space comfortable and avoid the naysayers. You know those people who come to say, "I come to look for you, girl, and I didn't know." Keep them away. Keep them away. Because you know them. Before they get there, you know them. "Girl, I hear you have." Keep them away. So you become her protector. You become her barrier. Say, if you know you're coming to stay away. So you encourage the people with positivity in her space. Those who are negative and coming to tell you about granny who did dead 40 years ago and auntie who now in the keep them away from her. But create a space that can foster and nurture positivity and the road ahead, peace and tranquility, and allow God to be a present. Allow God to be in the midst of where you are, because if he is not, regardless of where you go or what you do, I know people who didn't eat meat, didn't eat pork, they're not here today. I know people who went to the US and got treated, they're no longer here. So don't tell me it's what I'm eating, don't tell me it's where I went. It's only God that has me here today.
Thank you very much for being here and sharing again. Again, I wish I had more time. But we must wrap up this show this morning. Can I give you a hug on set?
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you, and all the best.
Thank you.
Guys, that's a wrap. We'll be right back. Just remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
what, Jerome?
What?
It's just the other day had a bypass surgery.
That I mean you have to bypass me.
You don't know the position I in?
Position? When that was? You know how long me see you in a position?
Saturday, November 5th, Shore Park, Tobago. It's Million Laughs Caribbean Comedy Commerce, the mega laugh festival to end the Tobago Carnival season, featuring Tobago's finest in folklore and musical entertainment, together with some of the Caribbean's top comedians: Larry Joseph, Daryl the Saint Mendoza, Dolores, Alan the Entertainer, Handsome Sun, Mako Media, and more. Get your ticket specials available on Island E-Tickets and various outlets nationwide, or visit the Million Laughs handles for more info. It's Comedy Commerce in Tobago, a wee kind of commerce.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back, guys, to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates Morning Show. We had quite a lovely show this morning. Quite emotional, quite informative, quite in touch, in tune with the realities of breast cancer and our women who are facing these challenges. Luke, care to share what your highlights of your interview were?
Well, to see that people that you are around, never to know that they've been going through all of this is really touching, it's really inspirational. And to see them navigate their way out of this darkness and finally enjoying life, you know, it's an inspiration to us. I think as young people, we are always looking for inspiration, and today was a really inspirational segment.
Yes, I totally agree. I totally agree. But we have some questions for some giveaways. So you want to begin?
I'll follow your lead.
Luke. Right. So first question is, what is?
So viewers, we have a giveaway for a spa in Tobago. My French not 100%. I don't know how I pass it, but I think it's pronounced Lamage. The spa. It's located somewhere in Tobago, so that brings us to the first question.
Right. Where is Lamage the spa located? You're calling 284-6957. That's 284. Oh, okay. Oh, it's at the bottom of the screen. So it's 284-6597. Please call and please give us your answer. The question is again, where is Lamage Day Spa located? Okay. Caller, good morning. You're there? Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
And who do we have the pleasure of speaking with this morning?
Marcia.
Miss Marcia. And where are you calling from?
From Lambo.
Lambo. So do you have the answer for us this morning?
Yes, Barrington's Court in Bonacord.
All right. Is that true? Is she correct? And yes, she is. So we want to congratulate you. So the answer is number 1 Main Road, Barrington Court, Bonacord, Tobago. Right? Miss Marcia, are you still there? All right. I hope that you're still listening. You could come in and collect your gift. We're moving on to the next question.
So the next question is, what is Lamage Day Spa's contact number? What is their number?
Oh, you're supposed to ask all the 2 questions? You're supposed to ask the person.
So we're waiting on someone to answer what's the number. What is their number?
I think we would have expended our time, unfortunately.
There's always next week.
There's always next week. And we have more giveaways. Stay tuned. We have coming up next GMT, Good Morning Tobago with Candice Jackson. Right. So What do we want to tell them before we go?
Don't go, just share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Retired sport coordinator Charmaine A. Archer is the third member of her family to become part of the Distinguished Society of Trinidad and Tobago, of which the president is chancellor. This honor comes after Miss Archer was awarded the Hummingbird Medal Silver for sport in the area of netball. She was honored at this year's National Awards ceremony.
It is a good feeling because you're recognized for the hard work and dedication that you would have put out, and it also indicates that your contribution was a significant and impactful one.
Miss Archer has been involved in sport since childhood. She attended Bonaccord Government Primary School, where she competed in track and field. Her passion continued at Bishop's High School in the form of basketball, netball, athletics, hockey, badminton, and tennis. Her administrative abilities revealed themselves during her secondary school days. Decades later, Miss Archer has retired, having held various management positions, particularly in the field of netball. This national awardee believes that sport is critical to our society's development.
It brings so many people from varying stratas of society together. It does a lot for us in terms of healthy lifestyles where you get involved in sport and sporting activities, and it also provides avenues beyond being a sportman for persons to pursue their careers in life.
In 2006, Charmaine's mother, Annetta Archer, received the Hummingbird Medal Gold for education. The senior Mrs. Archer was a well-known educator who opened a preschool, the Canaan Nursery School, in 1947. It's an academic institution that's still molding and developing young minds today. In 2019, Charmaine's sister, late sporting icon Martha Archer, was awarded the Hummingbird Medal Gold in the area of sport. Like Charmaine, Martha was also heavily involved in netball.
I call myself a member of our elite family. It's an honor to be among them, but it's just that we come from a family where I think volunteerism and giving back and that stuff is just etched in our DNA. We just used to that, we grew up into that, and all of us, we just love being a part of something that you do responsible and rewarding activities, and it's a good feeling.
Aside from Miss Archer, Tobago had other notable names on the national awards list. Athlete Dwight St. Hilaire, Hummingbird Medal Gold for Sport Track. Athlete Akani Hislop, Hummingbird Medal Silver for Sport Track. And retired Permanent Secretary Vel Lewis, Public Service Medal of Merit Silver for Public Service and Heritage Preservation.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denicia. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. The Environment Management Agency expressed concerns about the construction of several infrastructural projects in Tobago. In a press conference issued, the EMA noted that many of the works that are on the way are without the certificate of environmental clearance. A CEC is needed to ensure there's little or no negative impact on the environment and human health. Some citizens also raised concerns, environmental concerns, about a stage being constructed in the sea in Scarborough. However, the Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, Trevor James, explained the stage is under construction for the Tobago Carnival and that the time-sensitive nature of such projects require bypassing the usual procedures. Meanwhile, former Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and the Environment, Kwesi Devines, is concerned about the disregard for the proper procedure by the current PDP-led administration of the THA. Speaking as a guest on the Minority Report last night, Devines explained that procedures are in place to safeguard Tobago against ill-conceived infrastructural projects. And while the PDP promised to govern with transparency and accountability, he said they are not keeping their promises to Tobagonians and are engaging projects arrogantly. And nationally, Minister of Social Development and Family Services, Donna Cox, stated that Trinidad and Tobago is progressing in eradicating poverty. She spoke at a ceremony commemorating the United Nations International Day of Eradication of Poverty. Cox explained that measures announced in the recently read national budget validate the government's commitment to eradicating poverty. Two of those measures are the increase of the personal tax allowance to $7,500 and the establishment of the National Register of Vulnerable Persons. And that was the news in 90 seconds. And of course, before we get started in today's show, I just want to say a special thank you to Ms. Chanel Felix for holding down the fort on GMT on Monday. I am really happy that you were able to do it. You did a great job, and thank you so much for filling in at short notice. But viewers, we're going to get into our conversations this morning. And we are on, first up on the show is about the do's and don'ts of, hearing impaired for Carnival, so for the Tobago Carnival. So on with us, we have Dr. Amada Piper, I think, and Dr. Kumar, I think it's who we have on. Okay, Nicholas Cumberbatch and Dr. Amanda Piper. I'm sorry about that. Yes, there are audio biologists that are on this morning. Good morning and welcome to you both.
Pleasant good morning. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we are speaking this morning about, the hearing impaired. It's something that we don't consider when it comes to Carnival. So first of all, can you give us an idea of how many hearing impaired people do we have amongst our population? What is the percentage of persons that are affected by hearing problems?
Pleasant good morning. That's a bit challenging to define specifically. There's a range of different degrees or types of hearing loss. So you can have mild, moderate, severe, profound. Hearing loss can be found with infants, toddlers, school-age children, all the way up to working population and then the elderly. So it's a significant number if you consider all degrees and all types of hearing loss. But the main highlight during this Tobago Carnival season is that we want to bring to the forefront or the attention of all persons patronizing the events that they should protect and guard the hearing that they have, right? So that's the main thrust or the main objective that we'd like to communicate, that our hearing system is quite robust, but it is sensitive to loud noise exposure. It can be damaged, and that damage is irreversible.
And, as you spoke about loud noises and the damages that can be caused,
from things like carnival. What have you seen within our society over the years about people who developed hearing problems as a result of going to these parties, going to these fetes, and being exposed to loud music and that sort of thing?
Sure. So typically in Trinidad, in the 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks following the onset of carnival activities, we are inundated with phone calls from persons who have patronized events, DJs, musicians, judges for Panorama. Lots of persons contact us because they're experiencing hearing difficulties in one or both ears, loud, persistent tinnitus that's ringing in the ear that's not going away. They're getting headaches, and the list goes on. And so I haven't been able to tally that number, but it's a significant amount, and it is tied to the frequency and the abundance of loud activities that are centered around the carnival season. And so, again, the main point that we want to communicate is that can be avoided, right? So, our grandparents used to say that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So we want all persons, young and old, if you know you'll be participating in carnival activities, whatever form they are, and these could be patrons, it could be security guards, it could be police officers, again, judges for events, all persons, if you know you'll be within the proximity of loud noise, loud music for a sustained period of time, put in some earplugs, right? They cost $20, $25. That will save you a whole lot of heartache in the future, with regards to protecting your hearing.
What can be done, in terms of party promoters and those people that hold these fests and things like that? Because we know that, as a people, as a society, we're like, if you're at a party, it doesn't have the same vibe unless the music is ready to, burst your eardrums, as we like to see. Is there any way that, we can balance how high the decibel level of these speakers go to ensure that our people are safe in terms of their hearing?
I would say that a good quality commercial speaker system can get up to 110, 120 decibels, which will you will be deaf if you listen to that for an extended period of time in close proximity. So I recall one patient who I believe was around 27 years old. And so after we tested her hearing, she was completely deaf in one ear. And she said she went to a carnival event. It was down Chaguaramas. And her friends were urging her, let's get closer to the front now, let's get closer to the front. And she was the one positioned right in front of the speakers. And so after that event, she completely lost her hearing, severe to profound sensory neural or permanent hearing loss. And so that could have been avoided. The earplugs that I'm talking about are soft, tiny, very discreet plugs that you can insert into the ear. Really, if you insert it properly, it would not be visible, right? So no one would really know that you're wearing them once it's properly inserted into the ears. And then secondly, it attenuates sound. So it brings the volume of the incoming sound down by about 30 decibels. So it's not going to mute the entire environment. It's not going to completely disconnect you from what's happening. You will still be able to hear, but it will just bring sound down to a level that's safe for the ears.
All right. And now, Mr. Nicholas Cumberbatch, and you are the president of the Tobago Association for the Hearing Impaired. What could you tell me a little bit about the organization? What is it about in Tobago?
On behalf of TAHI, which is Trinidad and Tobago Association for the Hearing Impaired, I'd like to say a special hello to our Tobagonians and everybody else listening to this, looking at this program. And I think it was really important that we really appreciate the opportunity that you're presenting to us to talk about hearing impairment or hearing loss, people with deafness, because as an organization, as a matter of fact, this organization has been in existence since 1943. It was started by an act of parliament in about 2000, in the year 2000, Act number 53. So it's actually it's a governmental type organization. In other words, we come under the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. Now, we'd like to thank, of course, the THA, and in particular, Dr. Faith B. Israel, for allowing us an opportunity to work more closely with Tobago, because we feel that in Tobago, just as in Trinidad, you have a number of people who are not even aware that they have hearing loss. And it is we are definitely intending to create a presence in Tobago with the help of the THA, right? So what I want to say simply is that we are an organization to improve our mandate. We are mandated to improve the quality of life of the hearing impaired. In Trinidad, we have 2 schools for the deaf, Cascade School for the Deaf and Audrey Jeffers School for the Deaf. Just as I believe in Tobago, you have schools for the deaf.
Yes.
Right? So,
I don't have an answer.
So we have a number of, there are a number of things that we would like to be able to do in Trinidad and Tobago. One of the things that is coming out is that we have limited resources. We have limited resources in Trinidad, and it's much more so in Tobago. And that is why we are hoping that if we could partner with the THA, we would help to build up an awareness for protecting hearing, and also an awareness for taking care of people who have hearing impairment in Tobago. So that is basically a message that we would like to get out there, that we would like to aggressively deal with this problem, because it is a problem, let's face it.
Yes.
A lot of parents don't even know that some of their children are deaf. They could be talking to their children and the children don't listen. As one guy told me the other day, he thought his child was rude. He wasn't listening to him until he found out by going for testing that she had wax in her one ear and she couldn't, it impaired her hearing, right? So just little things. So that is why we are stressing that it's important that we pay attention to hearing screening, right? So that, as a matter of fact, the ideal thing would be if we could screen all the students in all the schools, right? Or, as a matter of fact, I'm sure when children are born, they're screened. Hopefully, they're screened. Because it's at that point we could identify whether or not there's deafness in children.
Now tell me, is there any avenues for people in Tobago, students, etc.? Is there any way for persons to get screened for hearing?
Well, as it is right now, the organization TAHI, we intend, as a matter of fact, we made a commitment to Dr. Faith D.B. Israel and Tobago House of Assembly that we will partner with them and embark on hearing screening as soon as possible. Now, because of our resources and what we would like it to be, we cannot do it on a daily basis. So a lot of people from Tobago come to Trinidad to be tested. But we could probably arrange to do some regular screenings in Tobago. Ideally, it would be nice if we could have a presence in Tobago maybe once a week or twice a month. We could set up a screening opportunity for Tobagonians so that they don't always have to come to Trinidad for screening. But there's also another matter when you screen, and I'm sure Dr. Piper could elaborate on this. You screen, yes, but what happens after you are screened and deemed to be deemed to have an issue? Then you have to be properly tested, and you have to have the equipment and the room properly equipped to do the testing. In Trinidad, we do have that. We don't have that in Tobago right now. So that's one of the initiatives we hope we could try to work out with THA to extend our presence in Tobago so that people in time wouldn't always have to come to Trinidad, that maybe once a month, twice a month, 3 times a month, we could set up a mobile unit in Tobago, right? And I think it's really important because this is a serious problem, you know. And a lot of us, it's serious because a lot of us, we're not aware that we are losing our hearing, right?
And
and it's a very serious issue.
What are those signs that we are losing our hearing?
Dr. Piper could help us here.
For persons that I would assume they have normal hearing or they're born with normal hearing, and then later on in life there's an incident, an accident, an injury, some type of insult that affects the hearing system. One of the first signs that we do see is tinnitus or tinnitus, depending on what part of the world you are. So that's a persistent buzz, ringing, chirping. It's a phantom sound that you hear, and it's a sound generated by the nerve of hearing, right? And that's kind of like an SOS call that the nerve is sending to the brain, like, oh, help me, I've been injured, I've been hurt, I've been assaulted by loud sounds or some type of physical trauma, but I'm not hearing well. So that nerve becomes hyperactive, and it's sending a lot of electrical impulses to the brain, and so we're hearing this constant ringing or buzzing in the air. So that's a pretty telltale sign that there has been some level of injury or damage internally. Secondly, you would know for yourself if you're listening to the volume of the TV, the radio, or your music loud, right? When you put on the headphones and your family members are like, what's going on? I am hearing that music and I am like 10 feet away. It's so loud. So when you find yourself listening to things at a very loud level, that's also an indication that you may not be hearing as keenly as you were before, right? And the I think what's apparent in conversation is when you have to ask persons to repeat themselves. Huh? What? You could say that again? I didn't really hear you. I didn't really get that part. So having to ask for repetition is also another sign that we look for. So I think that, again, as Mr. Kamabaj communicated, bringing awareness to the presence of hearing loss is key, and it is paramount because most people don't think about it. You know, we take really good care of our eyes. We wash our face, we wash our eyes, we pamper ourselves, all these other parts. Sometimes we neglect the ears. And so we just want the hearing system to be preserved for the lifetime of an individual, right? So we have hopefully many more decades to live. We want you to be able to hear when you are retired.
And I have a question now coming from one of our viewers, and that is, you know, they're wondering, is there any effects that people can experience in terms of hearing from those loud noises that emanate from vehicles? You know, sometimes you have those vehicles pass and their music is like shaking the house almost. So they're wondering, how does that affect people in any kind of way?
Yeah, the best way to communicate the impact of loud sound is, number one, the loudness, right? So if it's very loud, it's potentially damaging to the ear. But number two, the duration of the loudness. So how long are you exposed to that environment? If the car is just passing and it's intermittent and it's, 5 seconds, you're probably okay. But if you are sitting in said car, traveling from Port of Spain to San Fernando, that may be a problem, right? Because that's an extended period of time. And then the third factor is frequency. How often are you doing that, right? Is it repeatedly? Is it just, a once a year kind of thing? So the loudness level, the duration of that loud stimulus, but also the frequency, how often are you in that environment, can impact, if it's damaging to the ear.
All right, great. Now, as we're getting ready to wrap up, how can people get in touch with you guys, even just to have a further conversation about hearing loss and just to, find out whether or not they are in fact losing their hearing? How do they reach out to the organization?
Okay, well, our phone number is 623-0612 or 0613. Our current website it's undergoing construction right now, but the present website is www.dretchi, that's DRETCHI.org.tt. And by email, you can email us at association@ttaahi.org. And I'm sure we'll be happy to listen to respond to any request from Tobago and from anywhere else, really and truly. Something I just want to say, because, you know, when we think of a situation sometimes, we have to think about what we could do to correct certain things. And, you know, a lot of children who are born deaf, families think, well, that is it. They will be deaf for the rest of their life. But of course, as medicine advances, and we have advances in technology, there is something called a cochlear implant that is available right now, not necessarily in Trinidad, but it is available globally. But in Trinidad and Tobago, since we do not have the opportunity, we do not have a cochlear implant center, a lot of people who need it, families who could afford to do it, they pay lots of money to go to the States or to Latin America. In time, I would like to see, as we look forward, that we have a center for cochlear implant in Trinidad. As a matter of fact, we could be the center for cochlear implants in the Caribbean, in Trinidad and Tobago. As a matter of fact, maybe the island of Tobago could host a cochlear implant center.
I was just about to suggest that.
Right, and that could be something that could also be good for Tobago tourism. So it's just something that the politicians need to think about, and the people involved in the medical field, we need to get together. We have resources available to us. We have people in Cuba from the Cuban Medical Brigade who may be able to help us out through this process. So there are lots of things we could think about, and we are really excited about getting together with everyone to make a bright future, a hearing future for all of us.
All right, great.
And for those who cannot hear, I just want to say this. We do have available, first of all, deaf teachers who are trained to deal with teaching deaf students. And we do have interpreters who can help. Let's say if we had a deaf audience here who cannot hear us, we'd have somebody who would be able to do sign language. Now, these are two areas I really feel we need to increase our competence. We need to increase the number of deaf teachers in Trinidad and in Tobago. Personally, I feel we are very low. We are too low with the number of deaf teachers we have. And maybe we should be looking at scholarships for deaf teachers. Also for sign language interpreters. We don't have enough for our demand. So we have to start looking at training people in Tobago who can do sign language interpreting, and also in Trinidad, right?
All right, great. Now, I mean, this is a conversation we can further at another point in time, because there's so many things that we need to get into in terms of, you know, being aware of our hearing, being aware of people within our space who have hearing problems. So, and I thank you so much for being on with us and to giving us a perspective, and, you know, just to remind us how important it is to take care of our ears, basically. All right, viewers, well, we are going to take a short break right about now, but when we come back, we have a lot more for you. So don't go anywhere.
Welcome to Lamarche Parfait Day Spa and Wellness Center, your premier spa experience located at Bonaccord, Tobago. Visit us today for facials, cellulite treatments, body contours, body treatments, pedicures, manicures, and much more. We have gift cards for all occasions and corporate events. Connect with us on Facebook at Le Marge Parfait Day Spa or call us 273-7772.
Rest Assured helped me to cope with the unexpected, provides financial help for final expenses. Rest Assured, the affordable financial comfort plan. Tattoo Life, guaranteed protection.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago, and we again get into a special presentation for you. It's a collaboration between M&E TV. Of course, you know that is one of the platforms that we are airing on to you every day. M&E TV and Radio Tambourine, Soca with the Stars. So Tobago Stars of Soca, sorry. The draw. So let's get into that presentation right now.
We must be late. Anyway, on behalf of the Tobago House of Assembly Tobago Festivals Commission, presented by Radio Tambourine and M&E TV, there is going to be a Tobago Stars of Soca competition. That competition is going to run through this Tobago carnival season, and the way it's going is that there are going to be auditions this evening at the Shaw Park Cultural Complex. 12 participants will be selected. Those participants will be taken on 3 versions of Touch the Road, 4 participants per version, and those participants will participate thereafter in the Tobago Stars of Soca final. The first place in that competition is $50,000 presented by the Tobago House of Assembly, and then of course in the normal fashion the prizes fall away after that. So we have a full crew in. M&E TV's crew is in studio with Peter C. Lewis the Great. Yeah, Telele guy. We have Ricardo Jordan, who is here with us. Professor X is operating, and we have AJ, and AJ is a trainee from the Ministry of Sport and Community Development's Empower TT program, and he's here being mentored by me. I hope he doesn't turn into a bad person like I am. But we have the names, we have the numbers, and AJ will pull on behalf of all 39 acts that would participate. Some of them are duos, maybe 2 or 3. So here we go. So Adrian Isaac, whose sobriquet is Num Num, has a song called Express Bumper, and he will shoot his shot at position number, pull one out and call the number.
26.
And number 26, Adrian Isaac, number 26. Anderson McPhee, a gentleman who has won Most Promising Calypsonian several years ago. His sobriquet is Desire, and his song is Mix Them Up. So mix them up and pull.
23.
And his number is 23. Anderson McPhee appears in position 23. Anson Alfred Scouty, and his song is Inner Tobago. Number 10. Anthony Bacchus, King Banner, Living Life. A gentleman who has reason to say he's living life. Everybody knows that story. And his position is number 14. Anthony Washington, Washi, and he can't wait, so hurry up, kill the man number fast.
3-0 to the team.
We have a lot of people named Anthony in the competition. The other one is Anthony Eli, also known as Tony Sad. And Tony is not going to be sad because he's soca dancing at position number 38. Guys like last. Oh, that's last, right? Tony Sad singing last. Brian Harris, whose sobriquet is Dan Belligo. He has just won the prize of best sobriquet in the history of Calypso, Dan Belligo. And his song also has an interesting name. It's his Girl in position number 2. Right? Girl in position number 2. Watch out, here come the police. Carlin Dinoon, Simple C, and his song is Family, and he is position number 12. The media man is up next, Caston Cupid, and his Calypso name is Caston Cupid, and for some reason he's having a crisis. In position 32. The next participant is Derek Jack, and his Calypso name is Jumpin' Jacks, and he's going to sing Jumpin' in position 16. This makes so much sense, especially to those of us who've played basketball. And we have another Derek, and this is Derek Frank. He's Frankie D, and he has an overload, and his overload takes place in position number 28. The 12th participant is Dinique Kohal. Her Calypso name is Dinique, and her song is Thick, and it's in 33. Edwin Thomas is up next, and his song is Dance Maha. His name is Dance Maha, my apologies, and his song is Pate.
Position 20.
Calling the names, whether the little fella used to listen to horse races just to hear the names of the horses. Calling the name of the Calypso, that's a lot of fun as well. Elsie and George.
What number that one news before?
Or the one before?
20.
Edwin Thomas, he was 20. Paint, his number is 20.
20.
Yes, 20. Yeah, he's in position 20. Sorry about that. Then Elsie and George. And her name is Porks. P-O-R-K-Z. And Porks is a Fed champion at 36. Gerard Balfour, GBM. No problem opening up his number. His song is Problems, and he's at number 3. Gideon King, Tears, in number 8. Garth Washington, Squeeze, and he's a party pyong, and I'm glad I could pronounce pyong. Heston Lopez is up next.
What number is Washington? What number is Washington? 18.
Garth Washington?
18.
18. My bad. Heston Lopez is next, and he is IV, and we spell that I-V. Breakaway. Number 5. A veteran in the business, Ingrid Braffett Matthews, Lady IB, and tambourine band.
What number? 29.
Position 29. Javon Jackson, 20th, so we halfway there. Royal song We Heritage number 1. Javon Jackson, number 1. Karen Myers, Mystery Mario, Swing Down Low, 27. Kristen Benjamin, Nappy. Kirsten Benjamin, Nappy. He has in brackets, I say you boss. And he set a brace, and he's in 19. Levi Blake, they also call him Fashion Police, and Activate is his name of the song, and he's in position 7. Malanda Walker is next. Jatifa is his calypso name or his soca name, and the song is Come Let We Go, and you will hear it in position 9. Masimba George, SLR, also known as Simba Lion, and the name of his song is Anarchy, We're Not Going Home, and he's in position 22. Then we have a duo, and the duo consists of Michael Skeet and Kwame McLean, and they are Mikey Tower and Too Real. Their song is Firestorm, and they're performing in position 35. Nakeem Scotland is up next. Casper the Lyrical, and he's not missing the Juve in 34. Opuku Wari is next. Wari and Bego Carnival and he is in 25. Peter Phillip is next. Pa P is the name. Shango Dance is the song, and he's in position 13. Prenzon Bob is next. Prenzon is the name, and Alcohol is the name of the song, and that would be in position 6. But position 9 already went, right? Ryan Woods is next. Rihanna, and her song is Titney How We Play, and she is going to perform in 4th. Richard Skur is up next. Richard Skur is his sobriquet, and he's a Bacchanal man, and he's in 17. Ronnie Bastaldo is up next, and he is Corn Dog, and his song is Paint and Powder, and he's 37. Rosalind Reed, a national semi-finalist. Rosalind Reed is her singing name, and her song is Beautiful Woman.
Position 21.
Position 21. Ruston Simon, he says he still feels young. Culture B is his name, and his song is Strong Rum, and he's in 24. Samantha Braffett Matthews. So we have a mom and daughter thing going on. Well known, Thick Sauce. And the name of her song is Kurumba, and she's in 15. Stafford Samuel is next. And he is DK Sugars, and he just can't wait, and he will have to wait until position 31. You see what you want. And Stephen Sampson and Oman O are Shines and Trip.
Omari O?
I have Stephen Sampson and Omari O, and they are Shines and Trip, and their song is Ricky. And if you're really paying attention, you should be able to guess that the number left is 11. Why are you shaking it up for the last one? What do you expect it to happen? So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We will publish it. It will be on social media. Some people will receive calls. Remember that participants are to be there for 5:30. And that was your draw for your Tobago Stars of Soca 2022. It's the first time we're having it, so it's not the first annual, it's just the first, right? The second one will be the first annual. Looking forward to that. Congratulations in advance to all the participants. Some of you will be great, some of you will be good, some of you will be all right, but it will be a wonderful time for all at Shaw Park. There's not an entrance.